Next part of the exercise is I want you to imagine you have a straw. Okay, so open your eyes. Imagine you have a straw, and you're going to sip the straw. Okay? And then you're going to go as you exhale. All right, so inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to inhale that straw. Imagine you're going upward. And as you're exhaling, a cascade of coming down your whole body. Now we're going to put the whole thing together. You're going to contract the PC muscle. Roll the eyes back. And releasing everything. All right? So we're going to do that for a few moments, all right? Inhaling up, rolling the eyes back, drawing up with that straw, exhaling, I really want to hear that all right? Let go of inhibition, really go ahead, it's welcomed, it's welcomed. We say that there are three components to sacred sexuality, sacred intimacy. That's movement, breath, well actually first number one is breath, movement, and sound. So we're moving up the breath, we're breathing, we're moving it up, and we're exhaling. Very good. Okay, excellent. All right, thank you everyone. We're going to move on, we're going to come back to that. Data. He's been one of my main teachers, both in physical form and in all his books. He has phenomenal books, excellent books. I definitely recommend Googling him, discovering him, going on his site, data.info. He's a real master of this work. So he was originally an evolutionary biologist, and just before completing his doctorate degree, just before finishing his doctorate degree, he came to India. And I think it was his first time coming to India. And he came and he was basically initiated into the world of Tantra. And he took all his evolutionary biological mindset and applied it to sacred intimacy. And what he basically says is that, first, there's another thing I want to just give some basic to, is that he really honors the nature that the male consciousness is Shiva, and the female consciousness is Shakti. Now that exists in all of us, but we can be more predominant in a male vibration or more predominant in a female vibration. That Shiva energy represents pure consciousness, unwavering presence, absolute awakenedness. Shiva represents life, color, light, all the wonderful chaos of life in its explosion, all right? And so all of that exists in both of us, but like I said, there can be a predominance. We are all striving to come back home into wholeness. So Shiva is very attracted to Shakti. The masculine is very attracted to the feminine in all her life force energy, in all her color. The feminine is so attracted to Shiva and that male consciousness in its absolute, unwavering, integrity-bound presence. All right? So Data has very well named how individuals and societies evolve through the different stages of what he calls these stages of sexual evolution. And the first stage is what he calls pretty much kind of macho, bully, and submissive housewife. And basically, it's a relationship that is me, fear, fear, fear. All right? It's a place where codependency is rife. It's a place where power dynamics run the game, where there's a lot of fear, whether it's manipulation, whether it's outright coercing, whatever that is. And so we can have moments of it, and we can have states of being in that long term. All right? And again, certain societies are more known for holding that vibration, and other societies in the past have very well have held that vibration. Certain communities may hold it, okay? But like I said, individuals can hold it, but we can also, you can be very evolved, but have a first stage moment, all right? Again, which is very fear-based, very me. The ego is in spasm, as I said. The second stage is more of a democratic stage. That really, when World War II was extremely significant and pivotal in the world, it shifted the balance on so many things. It changed our map. Our map is very, very different. It brought in all kinds of different programs into so many different countries. There was a relating and a communication. The United Nations came into being. There was that consciousness of really moving into second stage on many, many levels. It also ushered in, it was the beginning because women, for the first time, really started to taste economic power. And in the 60s, it ushered in many countries, not just in the West, but trickled into other countries as well that weren't Western, a feminist revolution, as well as a civil revolution, and everything that came with that. All right? So it became about women repossessing, owning, calling back their power. And it became about men. It became a situation where men came into balancing out their feminine. For the first time, men did yoga on a mass level, particularly in the West. Men were encouraged to cry, to feel their feelings, to really step into that more their feminine nature as well. And the third stage is where I believe many of us in this room aspire to be. You're seeing definitely circles and communities more and more. We had the enormous grace of having Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi, who for me very much embody that third stage quality. That third stage quality is the man has done enough of his work, has done enough of his work to get to a place where he is secure enough in himself to hold his own for the good of the couple. Where the ego does not need approval, does not need stroking, does not need comforting. Where the woman has so owned her power, she's learned to say no. Okay, that's one of the women's biggest kind of weaknesses, is learning how to be in her power, learning how to say no, how not to give in, how not to people please, how not to be kind of whatever. And sometimes that's appropriate, but sometimes it's so not appropriate. And so that woman is in her power, but by getting into her power, she can reclaim that sensitivity. A lot of people say to me, what is this business about being surrendered? Surrendered is just being submissive. I found definitely in my Western audiences. Surrender is that place where you're so whole in yourself, you can just let go and trust. But the minute, and so in the female sense, the second she picks up that her man is not in his integrity, she calls it, she names it, she's on it. But she does it without shaming him, like we saw with Aisha when she Debbie, when she was honoring her man for him wanting to be with her in Mumbai for dinner, or in Bangalore for dinner, Mumbai boss. That kind of, I know myself, I trust myself, I'm whole, I've got my inner wounds in check, and I can see that you're out of control a little bit right now. It's okay. I love you. I trust you're going to come back. Okay, that's third stage. That's that level of mastery. So we could say that first stage is me. Second stage is we. Like, let's be democratic. Let's be fair. We've got to go through that. We've got to get that down, or else we can't get to third stage. And third stage is the us, is you. You and the greater us that we make as a collective.